Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. In this video, we're going to discuss the I-601 waiver, specifically in the context of fraud and misrepresentation. Now, what are we talking about here with respect to fraud and misrepresentation? Well, exactly that. Those who make material misrepresentations in petitions or applications to the United States government with respect to immigration, or just in general, general fraud and misrepresentation with respect to either the immigration process or some other matter that has occurred in the United States, is a legal ground of inadmissibility to the United States. And the I-601, it's important to note this with respect to fraud and misrep, because unfortunately there are a number of fake lawyers and sort of less than reputable sort of fly-by-night operations, especially outside of the United States, that tell people to, don't say this, don't say that, basically lie. In fact, I've known individuals who've been coached to lie by various unsavory characters who they think they're doing themselves a favor by lying with respect to, say, their visa application or at the interview at the embassy. Let's be clear on this. First of all, the Fraud Prevention Unit, which is posted at most of, if not all of the U.S. embassies outside the United States, are very keen and aware. They're not clueless, hapless individuals. They're dedicated State Department officers who are, well aware of all the tricks involved in the U.S. immigration process. They're not going to be fooled easily. So first of all, just from a practical standpoint, it's not a good idea. But also from an ethical and legal standpoint, you shouldn't be lying to anybody involved in the U.S. immigration process. Telling the truth is always the best situation. For example, it's been my experience in the past that people will have things, minor usually, things on their criminal records, which they think, oh, I should just lie to the embassy about that, when in fact there's no underlying legal ground of inadmissibility attached to that infraction. It might be something that the United States doesn't consider warrants a legal ground of inadmissibility, but the lying about it in and of itself will lead to a finding of inadmissibility. And this can happen rather frequently, or I shouldn't say it can happen rather frequently, but it can happen if people think it's a good idea to lie to the embassy. It's never a good idea to lie to U.S. government tribunals or anybody that you're dealing with respect to the U.S. government. And in the case of U.S. immigration, it can create a whole slew of problems, and in some cases, problems that aren't even an underlying issue to begin with. So those who are afraid of something on their record causing them a problem in immigration proceedings are very well advised to contact a legal professional prior to undertaking anything or making any irrevocable decisions, especially with respect to travel, in order to ascertain, A, whether or not it's going to be an issue, and then if it is going to be an issue, what the legal remedies and what needs to be done in order to deal with it. Simply lying is not going to be a good idea. Fraud and misrepresentation, as far as an I-601 waiver goes, a waiver of the ineligibility, a waiver of the inadmissibility, fraud and misrepresentation is a tough one to overcome because the issue of credibility has been somewhat challenged, just sort of on its face, because it's a matter of fraud and misrepresentation. So just as a general sort of way to think about this, fraud and misrepresentation, no one should knowingly lie to U.S. government officials, especially those involved in the U.S. immigration process. And moreover, in the 601 process, to go ahead and get that issue waived, the fraud and misrepresentation it's going to be difficult. I've seen cases where it's been overcome, but it's not overcome easily, and it's not overcome without rather significant amount of work involved and a rather significant amount of explaining and overcoming the extreme hardship thresholds. But that being said, it may be possible. Again, before making any decisions, in fact, anyone who may have an issue which they believe may cause an inadmissibility to the United States are very well advised to contact a legal professional who deals with immigration regularly in order to get relevant information with respect to how the process is going to work and what the ramifications are of the issue that someone thinks is going to be a problem.